Tell me about some of your first memories of worshiping here in this facility.
There were a lot of old people that my mama wore a hat. Everybody wore a hat, the ladies. And I could remember me crying and wanting a hat to wear to church because my mama wore one because all the ladies wore a hat.
We used to sit over here in the corner, and my daddy was in the choir, and if we cut up, he could pull one eye down and stop us right quick.
I think the big thing that I remember is just how warm everybody was here and how much they immediately made you feel just a part of the family.
Probably was 4 or 5 years old, I don't remember. But I remember being in Helen Drum's Sunday school class upstairs, and she made us listen. And I didn't like it, but sometimes she'd paddle you.
And Mother and I, Fred and Mother and I had been going to the Denver church when we were little. We got a few spankings down there, but I was old enough that I knew how to avoid them here, I think. So we started, after Grandpa died, Mother told Dad, said, well, you gonna keep going over there, me and Leo join you. So we did.
Tell me about the pot-bellied stove out in the middle of the sanctuary. Do you have any stories about that?
There used to be a pot-bellied stove right in front of where I'm sitting. It kept us warm. That was the only heat we had.
So we sat in the choir, and we sat on the front row, and sometimes we'd forget and kind of whisper and look at each other and grin. And then when we do that, well, our mamas was sitting behind us, and they'd take their finger and they'd punch us in the back. Well, when they would punch us in the back, we'd get tickled and start giggling, and then they'd punch again. Well, we'd giggle more. I mean, it was real obvious that we had several spells of that until we got fussed at home enough that we quit doing it.
Well, we were in choir always, and Miss Chatty Howard, this is Doug's grandmother, was in the choir, and she would do something and get tickled, and she shook the whole choir when she did that. This would happen at choir practice, it would happen in workshops or whatever. When Miss Chatty got tickled, she laughed and everyone else laughed. But I can remember those times of just good times in the choir with those people.
Yeah, Aunt Letha, she used to bring peanuts and had an apron with a little pocket in it where she kept the peanuts. And she'd give us all the peanuts, and we probably would drop them on the floor and make a mess, but she was a great lady.
When I came over here with my grandpa and dad, when they were building it, they had put a furnace in the basement. Had a little basement they had dug on the part of the underneath the Sunday school rooms. And some of them told us that helped dig the drain line from the basement straight out down toward where our arbor is now, that they dug through what they thought might have been an Indian grave. It was rumored that there were some Indian graves back there, and people thought they were anyway. But then when they graded out for the arbor, I looked, and I never did see anything that looked like an Indian grave.
Well, I'll tell you about my introduction to the sanctuary here at Mount Pleasant. My family and I were appointed here in our first week, and the very first day that they unloaded into the new parsonage, we were assigned to the new church, of course. And I rushed over here. I saw they had a bell, and they always intrigued me, bell in churches. And I hurried over here and went in there and found the rope, and I started pulling that rope and ringing that bell. And there came a screeching halt. A car rushed out the front there, came in rushing in the front door. What's going on? I said, I just ringing this bell. I love to hear church bell. He said, is this your first time here at the church? I said, yes. I said, I've been appointed to church here at Mount Pleasant. Well, this is going to be your last appointment if you keep on ringing that bell. I said, what? He said, it's all rotted out up there. And the next ringing was supposed to people have said to bring down it on top of your head, and so I quit ringing the bell. But that's my introduction to Mount Pleasant Church, the bell, and about ready to fall. And if it was ringing again, it probably would have. So I'm lucky I didn't hurry my way to heaven the first week I was here.